What's up, Rats? Today I have the top 20 beginner tips and tricks to start your journey in Wildgate. I have at least 3 tips for every single role: boarder, gunner, and pilot. So let's get into it. Starting at number 1 with boarder is don't overload the reactor. This has to be the number 1 biggest noob trap in Wildgate. I see enemy teams boarding my ship just going for the reactor. That will never do anything. I have never lost to a reactor overload. I have only dealt with one team that I was able to overload the reactor successfully, but they were the biggest noobs. Like, overloading the reactor is like the biggest noob trap. It doesn't ever lead to anything. You have better options to go for as a boarder, like our number 2 tip, which is to steal items that would make you lose. So what I'm trying to talk about here is like an entropy cannon or the mega core. Those 2 items can single-handedly win enemy teams' fights. So if you see that an enemy team has an entropy cannon or a mega core, go for that. Don't go for the overload reactor, because that's never going to work. Just try and steal those big valuable items. Another 2 other items that might be valuable for you to steal is the laser ram or mine layers. Those things can be very annoying, do a lot of damage to your ship. Maybe you steal those items, put it on your ship, and use it against your enemies. Don't overload the reactor. Instead, try and maybe steal something. Or you can do our number 3 tip, which I do all the time when I'm boarding, is I hit the enemy brakes or lower their shields. So me personally, I always board the enemy ship, and the first thing I do is target the helm. I am sorry for all you helm players out there. I just constantly go for you guys, kill you, and then hit the emergency brake. I don't even have to hop on helm. There's a red button right next to the helm that I always hit. You can jump on the helm to hit the emergency brake with the button Q on PC and lower the shields. That does usually take a little bit longer, makes you vulnerable. I usually just go for the simple hit the red button, make them a setting duck, and then I try and go to steal some items or kill the gunners. That's usually what I do. Way better than overloading the reactor. Just be annoying, steal some items, make sure they're setting ducks so your gunners can lay in the damage. Number 4 tip that I have for boarders is use clamp jets as boarding devices. So if you didn't know, you can place clamp jets on your allies, and then you're able to shoot it or punch it, and it sends your allies flying into space. Instead of a turbine, you can use a clamp jet, which, I mean, the only time I would use a clamp jet is if I don't have a turbine or I want to place a bomb trap. Because if you have a bomb trap, you can't use a turbine and a bomb trap because you only can hold one item. So you might want to use a clamp jet. You pick up as a boarder, you pick up the bomb trap, have a teammate place the clamp jet on you, directly on your back, and they send you away to the enemy ship. Yeah. You try and use some clamp jets if you ever need a board. So number 5 tip I have for boarders is use breaching charges. And the number 1 target that I always go for when boarding an enemy ship is a security device. Whenever you enter through a door as a boarder, the security device goes off and they all know you're on the ship. So I always like to do is target the security device, throw a breaching charge on it, destroy it. If you're Ion, you can punch it, but even with Ion, I still recommend breaching charges because I like to go to the helm and throw 2 breaching charges on it. As Ion, you only need to throw 1 and then punch the helm a few times, and then you can go through the helm, kill the person on the pilot seat, and then hit the emergency brake. Another great use for breaching charges has to be the engines. Just trying to destroy those engines. You could punch it as Ion, or you can quickly throw on the breach charges and destroy those engines to slow down your enemy. So that is my number 5 tip. So starting number 6, we're going to switch over things to the helm. And for number 6, if you're on helm, be more active. So what this means is, if you see enemy boarders coming at you and you have a shock field next to you, you need to get off helm, hit that shock field. Or if you don't have a shock field, but you see where the enemy boarders are coming, you need to be able to kill them. You cannot rely on your teammates to defend you. You need to do it yourself. The ship will fly on its own if you leave the helm. You need to go out there and just be able to make sure you keep yourself and your team alive. That has to be my most important thing that I see pilots do wrong, is just sitting there and taking the abuse. You guys need to fight back. You need to, if you're planning on being pilot, you need to have equipment that will help you defend your ship, like sensor traps, like repair drones, foam cannons, a shotgun, and yeah. You can even use Samo or Sal because they have 120 health and are really good for Helm. Like, you really, as a pilot, you really need to be more active, and you really need to just not be sitting on the helm all game and then complain to your teammates that you are dying. Like, you need to be active and be able to defend yourself. Number 7, kind of a basic one, but lower your shields for more speed. If you have your shields lowered, you will have a speed boost. If your shields are on, you will go slower. So you really want to manage this when you can. If you have line of sight blockers and you're trying to run away, you might want to deactivate your shields for a second to try and really get that get out of the bad situation. Number 8, another minor one, but it's one I think can prevent you crashing into things and just overall having a better sense of direction. Use that free look. For PC, it is holding down right click, and you can look around your helm view. And then you can even look to your bottom left and see how much fuel, ice, and ammo you have. I just recommend using free look if you're on the pilot seat. Number 9 is probably also another very important one if you are on the helm. And that is know your strength and know your enemy's strength. Like, if you have a very good close range build, you should try and sneak up on enemies and just absolutely decimate them with your close range firepower. If you see that your weapons aren't that good and there's an enemy coming at you with a laser ram, minefield, and thermite cannons, you might want to try and stay away. So this tip really goes into my next tip very well, but like, you really need to know what your enemies have and what they're good at, if they're going to outdamage you or you're going to outdamage them. Like, you need to know who has the advantage in fights that you are taking as the pilot. You either can win the game or lose the game based on where you are flying to. If you're flying into a bad situation, you're going to get your team killed. It's not going to feel great. You really need to be aware that what you have and what the enemy has. Going on to number 10, which really goes into the last point I made about your enemy's strength, is use probes. Probing is a very underused mechanic, but it is very important to scout out your enemies and know what they have. Like, you can use a human probe where you can go turbine over and just say hello and figure out what they have, but using actual probes are pretty good into figuring out what your enemies have. Like, just use probes, call out to your team what the enemy has. If they have thermic, laser ram, mine layers, anything important, make sure your team knows. Use those probes. Probes also are good for other things. And number 11 tip I have is keeping enemies scanned. So if you're taking a fight with someone, just make sure you keep them scanned on your map so your pilot knows where they are at all times. Because if sometimes when you lose that scan, the pilots don't know where the ship's gone off to. Try and keep your enemies scanned. Number 12 also goes related to the probes. Is know where the artifact is and keep an eye on the Wildgate percentage. So at the start of the game, when you're on that very first easy POI that I don't really recommend going to, but if you're going to that first POI or just the first few minutes of the game, you want to find where the artifact is. Number 1 target is always go for the monolith. The monolith will spawn the artifact 50% of the time or more. I can't really tell. It feels like more, maybe 70% of the time that the monolith will have the artifact. So you really want to go try and find the monolith, see if it has the artifact. If the artifact's not there, you need to do a lot more probing and scan every single POI to find the artifact. You can have a nice, peaceful, relaxing game. Next thing you know, someone grabs the artifact, the Wildgate opens, and they're dashing straight for the Wildgate. You need to know where the artifact is and what percentage the Wildgate is at. This is a very big and important tip. Probes are very good. Do not sleep on probes. Probes can help give you information that can lead to you winning the game, whether that is scouting an enemy ship or finding the artifact. So we're going to start with our 3 gunner tips I have for you guys. So number 13, if you're on private tier and you have double one-shot weapons, so that is like the scatter cannon, the macro cannon, the bomb cannons, all things that shoot once, you can shoot them once, start the reload animation, and then go to your other cannon, shoot them once, start the reload animation, and just keep on going back and forth between those two guns, you can do the work of two people, and then you have a spot free, so you can have two boarders. I mean, doing the work of two people is really good, and that is the strength of the privateer. So that's my first tip for you guys. The second tip is, if you are a gunner, target those hard points. Hard points being like the engines, the helm, breaking their windows, trying to put pressure on the helm. Maybe you can kill them. If they're shooting at you and you have line of sight on their guns, you definitely want to shoot their guns. Laser ram, mine layer. Just target those hard points to make it a nightmare for them to repair and just overall have the advantage in your favor. Number 15 is to keep spare weapons. So I always do this on my ships. I start out with long range weapons like the macro cannon, the sniper cannon. Then I have a weapon behind it that is more close range. So whenever we start a fight, I poke them with the long range weapons. And then when we get closer, I switch them out with the short range weapons like the the thermic cannon, the plasma beam. Like, I always have my long range weapons and close range weapons. And I always switch them out whenever I see fit. So number 15 for gunners is make sure you have your keep spare weapons for long range and close range. A bonus tip for gunners is, I would maybe, if you are a primary gunner, use the repair drone, because if you're getting shot at by an enemy player, like they're trying to shoot out your guns, throw down a repair drone, it will automatically heal you and you'll outlast them. So going on to number 16 is hide your laser rams. Instead of just immediately putting your laser ram on a hard point, you kind of want to leave it next to it and ready to go. Because whenever an enemy is probing you, they're going to see a laser ram and they're going to know to stay away from you. You kind of want to lull them into a false sense of security to get close to you. Next thing you know, you pop on that laser ram, and next thing you know, they're like, well, that's not good. So make sure to hide your laser rams until the fight begins, or you're close range to them. And then number 17 is consider a PvE weapon. Getting the edge on your opponent in this game relies on PvE to give you those guns that are able to help you succeed. So PvE can take usually a hot second if you don't have the right weapons for it. So I think the best two PvE weapons are the Doctor and the Painter. The Painter has a lot of high DPS, and that Doctor is able to help you with those POIs that have no health regen, or just pocketing your person that is using the Painter to heal them up. Or even Ion is able to do a lot of melee damage to those mobs, so you can use the Doctor to heal your Ion. So number 17, consider using a PvE weapon. Number 18 is consider having a Sal on your team, at least one Sal on your team per game. Sal is a very useful character. Sal can usually be the pilot because of the repair tool, and just doesn't really have a boarding kit, but is so useful. They are the support character for your ship. You are able to recycle useless items that you don't need. Like maybe you get a cosmic storm barrier and there's no cosmic storm, or you have these ammo regens that you can't put anywhere. Give it to Sal, he could scrap it. Sometimes he'll give you fuel, a blue weapon that is really good, or some ice. Or he has his own two unique inventions that you can't find anywhere on the loot table, which is called the Sal invention, which will improve your shields by 20% and give you +1 ammo regen. Or Sal bomb trap that does 30 damage compared to the regular bomb trap that does 20 damage. So having a Sal, like one Sal on your team, whether they pilot the helm or just a gunner, is so useful. Number 19 is use the crew hub to know who you're against. So if you're on PC, you hit escape and then go to crew hub, and you're able to see the list of your opponents, and you're able to tell, maybe if you're a streamer, maybe you see a name you recognize as a stream sniper or a hacker in the lobby, or overall the most general use case to see how many players they have. Like, I was able to tell a few times by the crew hub that the team I'm going against or about to take a fight with only has 2 players. It's going to be cakewalk. So use the crew hub to figure out who you're against. And number 20 is to loot turbines on enemy ships, especially if you have boarders that don't have long range capabilities like Moths, like K or Ion in some cases. You definitely, if you destroy a ship, unless it's the scout, there will be 4 turbines that spawn on the back. If it's a scout, then there's only 3 turbines. So just loot those turbines, help your boarders out, being able to board ships from a longer distance. So that's the end of the top 20 tips and tricks for beginners. I'm going to throw in an extra bonus one. Number 21 is use the Wildgate LFG. If you are 13 years or older, use Discord and you're able to search for a server that has a Wildgate LFG, whether that be the official one or a fan-made one. Try and find others players that will let you play what you want. Like if you want to be a boarder, then maybe you can find a pilot and a gunner. Just use a Wildgate LFG, trying to avoid those randoms as much as possible. So that's my bonus tip for you guys. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe for more Wildgate content. Let me know if I missed anything down below. And I hope you all have a rat-tastic day. Peace.